occasion. Okay, so we are ready for our second very special woman, Alessandra Rellini. Alessandra, are you with us?
Yes, I am,
Okay.
and I'm here with my 10-year-old because today is Mother's Day.
Wonderful. So Alessandra is actually an associate professor in clinical psychology at the University of Vermont, and also the head of this beautiful farm and reality that we're going to talk all about today. So Alessandra, let's just connect you back to Italy. Where are you originally from, and when or what brought you to the United States?
Well, I'm from Genova. Originally, my family is from there, but my mom's side is from Piedmont, so I was raised by Piedmontese grandmas and grandaunt.
And then this interest that eventually brought to create Agricola Farm, was this something that you always had, or how did you develop it?
No, I definitely did not always have this interest. I never even grew up with animals. I came to the States when I was 15 to learn English and just to get comfortable with the culture here. And then I really liked it, so I stayed, and I started a career in clinical psychology as a professor, researcher. And I moved to Vermont. And here, everybody raises their animals, has a little garden. So it started that way, and then things got out of control.
In a good way. So you started with the tre porcellini, the three little piglets. No, kidding. But can you
Literally, yeah, no, you're right on.
I tre porcellini.
Yeah, and now as Eva says, I have way too many pigs.
Ciao Eva. Quanti porcellini ci sono? Quanti porcellini alla mamma? Ok, avete tutti voi. Tantissimi. And then you have also pecore, sheep, polli, anatre, a little bit of everything, right?
Sì, anche anatre.
Anche anatre. So obviously, this is something that now you have been working on for about a dozen years, right? About 10, 11, 12 years?
Yeah. I started in originally 2006, and that was just a homestead, and I was just doing raising just the food for my family and friends, and then people wanted to start buying it, so things became more serious. More animals need more land, and so here we are, like packing all the pigs and and all the furnitures and Eva on a truck and moving across the state to be where I am now, where I have a farm of 65 acres, and it's my partner Stefan and I, and Eva, and some other farm assistants that run the farm, but also we have opened a Salumeria, so we started making cured meats.
Yes, so let's still stay on the labor, because it's very labor intensive. I would assume.
Yeah.
What is your day like? When does the alarm goes off? I mean,
you don't want to know.
24/7, right? 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
And the thing about the farm is that you never know. You know, the other day we just had a lamb that was born that had difficulties eating from their mom, and so the day started at 2 a.m. With this little lamb crying in the bathroom, and then rushed to the university, which is about 45 minutes from here, to administer an exam to the student, and then rush to the Salumeria, and then come back to the farm to feed the animals, maybe give a couple injections, and then cook for having dinner for everybody, and then do research at night, and then finally hit the pillow, and then begin again. But you never know what's going to be.
Exactly. So now, if I remember correctly, or if I have read correctly, there was a very successful crowdfunding experience, so that has allowed you to expand. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we are fortunate that we've also had a little agritourism going. So we had dinners here, so we got to know a lot of people who have been very, very supportive through the years. And so what happened is that we needed new equipment to make coppa, prosciutto, and other
words.
things. And so we needed to buy equipment. So we reached out to our community, and they responded. And within 2 weeks, we were able to collect $33,000, and we're now starting the production of this other cured meat. So that's been a wonderful experience, not just because it's nice to find the money to do something, but also because there were just so many people who just donated whatever they could or wanted, or, it was just very nice to see so many people involved. So.
Indeed, it must have been a recognition of the hard work you've been putting and the quality of the products you put out. And also, when we as consumers enjoy the final products, there are so many considerations that go into a farm or a production. And I think in Italy, you have all the DOP, the IGPs, you have all these recognitions. So, obviously what you produce is also very local to what your animals are fed on. And then when we talk about feeding, we should be concerned about what is in the ground. So it's just, it's really a much deeper conversation. So can we expect to see some sort of label, say prosciutto di Vermont?
Yes, actually, prosciutto Champlain, prosciuttino Champlain.
The beautiful lake.
That you will, and I think what I like about our little system here is that everybody does everything. So even the people who are mainly butchers, they come to work at the farm. And actually, I have to say, we have a special connection with Pittsburgh because our butcher, we stole it from you guys. He's a big penguin fan. And told me to make sure I was mentioning it. So he was here working the other day, feeding the pigs, and sometimes the people working as farm assistant, they go to the Salumeria to work there. So we really do see the whole process. Like, those animals are born here, raised here. We do the processing. We kind of really do the whole thing, and that's extremely helpful for us because we can ensure that our product is the quality we want, and it's different. For us, it makes a big difference.
It's a total quality control process. And talking about process, Salami, a story of sweat, traditions, and technology. You have so many interesting articles onto your website. So we'll later on, towards the end of the interview, I will ask you to share all your contact details, which we'll also include in the replay of this beautiful interview. But tell us a little bit, how does it start? Tell us the timings and the steps to make those delicious salami that we can enjoy and order from you.
So, it begins with the boar meeting the sow, if you want to go way back. But basically, our pigs are raised for up to 10 to 12 months, which is very different from the U.S. tradition, where it's about 6 months to raise a pig. We use the suino pesante approach, which is what Italian farmers do to raise their pigs for cured meats. Then we process it. We separate the cuts that are going to turn into fresh meat versus cured meats. The salami is basically a sausage, but with special lactobacillic acid in there and special bacteria basically to promote fermentation. So the fermentation process lasts maybe about a week, and then there is all the aging process, which is about another 4 weeks. So it's, from the time we get the carcass from the slaughterhouse to the time the salami is packaged, it's about a 2 month process. And then for the larger cuts, it's even longer. And there are at least 4 months of aging. And all the process we do have some very high-tech curing chambers from Pagani it's an important company that we're using, that we imported from Italy. But we are really trying to keep the tradition. So we are still tying the salami by hand. We are still mixing the meat by hand because I was trained by a Norcino from Tuscany several years ago. So I followed him around and he would show me things. And so I learned kind of the very old way how to do things. And so we're trying to keep this tradition, which is definitely not, financially not a very smart choice, but in terms of what it gives us, in terms of reconnecting to our culture, which is one of the reasons why we do this. It's a very satisfying, especially teaching it to young American butchers. It's very nice to see them learning those old techniques.
Yes, and also, all these attention that you put into the process and your products earned you the Good Food Award just this year for your classical. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Any ingredients that you can share, would like to share, or what goes into your classical?
Well, a lot of love, but we try to keep it very simple. The ingredient, actually the classical is probably one of the simplest one. It has the usual suspects. So you have your salt, you have your pepper, and a little bit of nutmeg, but it remains it remains quite like a pure product, as similar to what the Italian product it is now in Italy. We don't tend to put a lot of spices in our salami. Then we have a spicy one that it's where we actually get the peppers imported from Calabria. For that one, it's definitely straight punch in your nose. and but we also have just got a grant from the Department of Agriculture to put up a hoop house, a greenhouse. So we're going to be growing a lot of our herbs and spices here on the farm. So we are going a step farther even to try to keep control of the whole process. And also people, this is set up as a CSA, so you have different selections. You have the pasta and the bread box or the meat box. Is that correct? Yeah, but it's unfortunately that's when it's only for the locals, the one who can come here at the farm. Yes, we don't ship it outside of the state.
No. It would kind of defeat the purpose because you want to take advantage of the freshness and the locality. It's all about the kilometro zero, so to speak, type of philosophy. So, you continue to progress. People are enjoying your products. You started to have them over. And so you kind of took back the concept, also the communal dining and this kind of the agriturismo experience. Tell us a little bit about these dinners and the format that you organize on site.
Yeah, it's what you would find in many small agriturismo in Italy, where basically you come in at a specific time and you're seated at the table with other people, and food starts coming in. Food like, the primi, appetizer, primi, secondi, dinner. Usually there is dinner that lasts about 3 hours, and it's 8 courses. And then lunches, maybe 2.5 hours, and there are 5 courses. And sometimes also, we often do a little tour of the farm ahead of time. And for a lot of Americans, that's a novel experience where they don't have that training that we do in terms of sitting at the table and just talking. And so they find it very soothing and a very good way to connect with people they've never met before. And there is nothing, I think, better than connecting over a plate of and dish and nice food that it's made fresh there in the moment. And they're just simple food. It's nothing that you would find in a very high-end restaurant. It's something that a grandma would cook. We call it Grandma Stefano, my partner.
I was going to say, let's actually give credit also to Stefano.
We keep it simple and good, and we really try to help people enjoying the moment here.
Wonderful. So we are going to approach summer. So what does summer look like at the farm?
Summer is very frenzy because every animal is out on pasture. We raise everybody on pasture. So we have, and in order to preserve the health of the pasture, you have to move pigs. You can't just, or the animals, you can't just leave them in the same area or they'll ruin the soil. So it's a constant moving musical chairs where you're moving the sheep in the morning, and then you move that group of pigs in the afternoon, and then there's the chickens that get to be moved as well. So it's basically keep trying to push some animals on a new part of the land, seeding the old land that they maybe had been stumping on, making hay, It's very active, and then you have little piglets that are born every month, so a couple of litters per month. So you have those little guys that you have to teach them to be on pasture, and they are not very receptive to the idea of electric fences, so they tend to escape and get themselves in trouble. So it's very lively, I think.
I would assume so. Is Eva, right? Your daughter's name? Is
Yeah.
she still around?
Yeah, Eva is here.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. So, was there, I don't know if it was the TV or someone that came out and had some quizzes about the animals? Any questions that maybe you can tell us that, what was it? Something about, no, I don't remember. I was talking to your mom about it, but how was that experience?
It was really fun. It was NPR, and it was super fun because I got to tell about how kind of how we use the sheep and how we use the sheep wool and how we take care of them, and it was just super fun.
So what happens to the wool? Do you have someone that works do you sell it, or do you have someone that makes woolen products for you that you might have back, so to speak, at the farm shop, or is it something that you thought about?
We haven't sold any of our wool. I'm not sure if we're thinking about it.
You see, she's already making executive decisions here.
What happens to sheep when you don't shear them is their wool becomes super firm. It almost feels like a fluffy rock.
Mm-hmm.
And if you shear them, you have to shear them at least once or twice a year.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have to shear them, so we don't always shear them on time, but also they're very naughty. They are Icelandic sheep, so they are not your normal sheep that you see at the fair.
Mm-hmm.
These sheep are more like goats,
Mm-hmm.
and so they will escape no matter what type of fences you use, so they always end up in burdocks, so they're always covered. Do you know the burdocks? Do you guys have those there?
No, personally, I'm not familiar.
Yeah, well, think about it, that's how it was a sheep farmer that invented Velcro.
Okay.
Looking at the burdocks, those horrible balls that get stuck to your hair, your clothes, and everything. And the moment that they get on the sheep wool, they get burrowed into their coats, and it's impossible to remove them. So our sheep seems to really like the roots from those plants.
Mm-hmm.
We don't use much with the wool. I think that the NPR will be aired in I think it's a program. It's called But Why, and they had kids asking questions about animals.
And any But Why questions that you can share? That was it. Anything that you remember was asked?
Yeah. So they asked why pigs have curly tails.
Okay.
And
I wouldn't have any idea. Can you tell us?
Well, there are two answers. Well, they use the curly tails. They use their tails for communication. So they're like dogs in a sense. Like a curly tail means I'm happy, I'm satisfied, look at me. And then when the tail is drooping and down, it's a sign that something is wrong. Maybe I got in a fight with somebody. Maybe somebody upset me. Or maybe I have a belly ache. So they use it for communication. Mm-hmm. But it's curly also because it seems like it might have been because people have selected those over the years. And some by chance, some of those traits that are associated to the type of meat and fat that we tend to prefer is also linked to the curly tail. So the curly tail is kind of a happy accident that came along. Okay,
so with the happy thought, we have only 30 seconds left. Could you can you tell our customers how they can learn more about your farm? So Agricola Farm, and then Monti Verdi is the handcraft
meat
salami
processing.
part
Mhm.
of the.
So Agricola Farm can be found at agricolavermont.com. And Agricola VT, it's for Facebook and Instagram.
Wonderful.
And then the salami is Monti Verdi VT.
Okay, we will definitely share those links, and you will be seeing my order coming soon. And again, I love that area. I love Vermont, so look forward to meeting you all in person. So for tonight, this is it. Buona serata. Ciao ciao ad entrambe.
Ciao, ciao.
So unfortunately our hour has flown by. Time is up. Il Big Ben ha detto stop anche questa sera. So it is time for us to say arrivederci, alla prossima. We want to thank you for listening. If you have any questions or comments, please contact us at theitalianradiohour@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Our guest next week will be Russell Anthony Shorto, who is an American author, historian, and journalist who is best known for his book, The Dutch Origins of New York, The Island at the Center of the World. His most recent work is Small Time, The Story of My Family and the Mob. And it's a memoir covering Shorto's own family history and his ancestors' involvement in the American Mafia in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. And for the second segment, we'll have Samuel Bozzola, who is a figlio d'arte who had the pleasure to meet with Luciano Pavarotti and have dinner with him many times, and will tell us more about the intimate side of Luciano's life. And remember, if you or any of your family have missed a prior episode or would like to listen to this episode again, please visit our website at www.istitutomonditaliano.org and click on the Italian Radio Hour tab. Vorremmo ringraziare le nostre ospiti Nadia Fugazza, Alessandra e Eva Rellini, il nostro sponsor Istituto Mondo Italiano e alla Boara per la musica. And finally, before we leave, here is our trivia question for next week. What does trovarsi con le spalle al muro mean? Again, what does trovarsi con le spalle al muro mean? If you're not you can send your answers to the Italian Radio Hour at gmail.com. If you're not in the Pittsburgh area or might be traveling, remember, you can catch us streaming us live at khbradio.com every Thursday at 5 p.m. And be sure to like us on Instagram and Facebook at Italian Radio Hour. Until next time, alla prossima. Ciao ciao!
The Italian Radio Hour has been sponsored by Istituto Mondo Italiano.